Alright, so this video is about writing quadratics in vertex form. So, first of all, a quadratic equation generally looks like this. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where we have an a that's in front of x squared, a b that's in front of x, and a c value that's a constant there on the end. We consider those for a while, we factor them, and we solve them by completing the square, and we solve them with the quadratic formula. But the other ways we can look at it, one other way we can look at it is in vertex form. A vertex form has new letters in it. You still have the a. This a here is the same as the a that's in the original standard form of the quadratic equation. But now it's outside the parentheses here. And this is some binomial squared plus some k. In vertex form, your vertex is the coordinates h and k. So the vertex of a parabola or quadratic equation is the highest or the lowest point. We might call it max or min. In this case, this is your vertex, and that is a max, because it's the highest point of the parabola. I can show other ways. It could look like this. This would now be the vertex, or the lowest point. This is the minimum. Or again, that's the lowest point. So it's the vertex of it, and that's the lowest point of that parabola. Of this parabola is pointing upwards. And this parabola points downwards. If a is negative, then the parabola points downwards. A value is negative, as the parabola is pointing downwards. If a is positive, as in positive 1, positive 2, or whatever, then the graph points upwards. When a is positive, the vertex is the minimum. When a is negative, the vertex is the maximum, because it changes the direction of the parabola. Now, this is what the vertex form looks like, and let's start investigating that just a little bit. If I gave you an equation like this, y equals 3x subtract 2 squared plus 1. I can look at this and tell my vertex. I know my vertex is the coordinate h, k. So with my vertex, again, the vertex is the coordinate h, k. I'm going to look at this formula, and h is the number inside the parentheses with x, and k is the number there on the end. In this case, whatever the sign says there, h is going to be the opposite of it. So because that says subtract, I know my vertex in this problem will be a positive 2, and my k value will be a positive 1. The reason why is h in the formula is just h with the negative sign automatically in the formula in front of it. Basically telling you to get the opposite of whatever the sign is when you go back to writing the actual vertex. So the vertex of that problem will be 2, 1. That's the vertex. The a value is 3. And this parabola opens upwards. So it opens up. As in, it looks like this. So you got some parabola that opens upwards. And this vertex, because it opens up, this vertex is a minimum. That parabola is already written in vertex form. And the problems you're going to look at in the future, they won't be written in vertex form. But that's how you find the vertex. When is in vertex form? And that's how you find the a value. It's simply the number in front of the parentheses. And that's how you decide whether or not it's a min or a maximum. You look at a new one. Now let's consider just problem number 2 on this page. So looking here, considering just problem number 2 for right now. We want to find my vertex. I can look at this and tell my vertex is positive 1, positive 3. I know my a value is 3. And because that's a positive 3, I know the graph opens up. And it looks like this. So I know my vertex is a minimum. My vertex is a minimum point, our lowest point. really useful to know that when you start talking about domain and range. You look for the highest point and lowest points and so forth. But that means vertex is the minimum. In this problem, it has no k value there. So my vertex in this problem, since I don't have a k value on the end added to it, must be a plus 0 being added to it. So I know my vertex is positive 4, 0. I know my a value is negative 2/3. Because a is negative, I know this graph opens down. And it looks like this. For that reason, I know my vertex is here, and that's a maximum. So my vertex is a max. All right, let's look at a new one. Considering the problem here, there's number 5. Look in here. Pause the video and decide the vertex. And decide whether they open up or down. So ignore me. Pause your video. Decide the vertex. Pause it now. You should have found that the vertex was positive 7, negative 1. You should have also found that the a value was 3. So that means this graph opens up. So it looks like this. Because vertex is positive, so a value is positive. So that means my vertex is a min. Pause the video again and try 6 and 7. So pause the video and try 6 and 7. Great. You should have found your vertex in this problem was negative 2, negative 5. Since a is positive 3, this graph opens upwards. Opens up. So it looks like this. So that means my vertex is a min. Go to the next one. I have no number out to the right, so it's a plus 0. I have no number out in front, so it's an understood 1. Then multiply to that. So the vertex should have been 3, 0. A was, so a would be 1. And the minimum, the parabola would be open upwards. And there's a minimum there. Let's go to number 9. Pause the video again. And try numbers 9 and 10. Alright, so if you pause it, you should have found the vertex was negative 1, negative 3. Because it's the opposite sign, the vertex should be negative 1. And the b and the k value is still negative 3. The a value is 2. So the parabola opens up. Opens upwards. And or you can write the word up if you want. And that's it. Alright, so looking at the next one, you should have found that the vertex was at negative 4, 0. And the a value was 1, because I understood 1 here. And this graph opens up. And it looks like this. So my vertex is a minimum. Alright, so that's it for vertex form. And that's what we'll stop for now. We'll carry on tomorrow. That's all I have. Good luck. There's a parabola.